This is lesson 15 of 16 lessons on how to build a Joomla website. This lesson is about Joomla extensions, and the topics are understanding extensions, the 5 types of extensions, finding extensions, and installing extensions. Joomla provides all the functionality you need for a simple site. But if you require some specific functionality, you can often find what you need with an extension from a third-party developer. There are thousands of these extensions, some of which are free, while others are sold for anything between a few dollars and a couple of $100s. As Joomla is open source and written using the popular PHP language, it's also possible to write your own extensions if you have those skills. Or you can find a developer to do this for you. As there are various aspects of a website, there are various types of extensions. Here is a brief rundown of the 5 types of Joomla extensions. Components. You might like to think of components as applications. These often provide complex functionality, and examples include a photo gallery, an online shop, or a membership site. Joomla comes with what's called core extensions, and you find these in their own menu in Administrator. As components often have multiple functions, they might have subpages within the menu. And as each component has a different function, the way you work with one is likely to be different to the way you work with another. As such, you need to read the documentation. Modules. We have already explored modules in Lesson 12. They are managed via the Module Manager. Remember that I think of modules as secondary content. That is, all the content that appears on the page around the primary content. This might include navigation menus, additional text, a search box, a newsletter registration form, or a random image. Modules can appear on all pages throughout the site, or just pages you specify. Plugins. As their name suggests, plugins add content to a page or content item. There are 2 types of plugins. The first type works in the background of a page. They can add additional code such as Google Analytics tracking code. Alternatively, plugins might be activated within an article or module. For example, there is a plugin that has the ability to add commenting to an article. Templates. Templates have already been discussed in the previous lesson, and they are managed via the Template Manager page. Languages. There are 2 considerations when it comes to multilingual Joomla websites. The first is the default text that Joomla outputs in various places. The Language Manager page in Administrator allows you to install language packs and change the default language of the site. However, this only changes the Joomla content, not the content in articles and modules. So the second consideration for multilingual sites is creating versions of each content item for each required language and setting the site up to allow visitors to display their desired language. This is an advanced topic that's not covered in this course. The majority of Joomla extensions are listed on the Joomla extensions directory at extensions.joomla.org. You can search the directory or browse through these categories. There are a few things to consider when choosing an extension. I'll navigate my way through to a popular category, Contacts and Feedback, Articles Comments. There are several features to help you choose the most suitable solution for your needs. First, you need to ensure that the extension is compatible with your version of Joomla. There is a coloured icon at the start, so ensure it matches your version. You can then compare extensions with ratings and reviews that have been added by community members. Also note that there are 2 types of extensions: commercial and free. Basically, free means it's completely free or there is a free version. And commercial means the developer charges a fee. Clicking on a heading takes you to a detailed page that includes a longer description, some screenshots, and the reviews. There are often icons towards the top that are shortcuts to the appropriate page on the developer's site. If a demo icon exists, then it's a great idea to view the extension in action to help you decide if it is worth your time and possibly money. Although there are 5 distinct types of extensions, it's common that when you choose an extension that it includes more than one type. In this example, the extension includes a component and a plugin. The process of installing and configuring extensions varies depending on whether or not you need to extract some files first. So it's always a good idea to read the documentation from the developer. The basic process is 1. Find a suitable extension. 2. Download it. 3. Possibly extract the contents of the download. 4. Install the extension. And 5. Configure the extension. So let's look at an example. I will download an extension that allows visitors to add comments beneath your articles. This is called Commento, and on the listing page you can see a link to download. When you click the download link, you're taken to the developer's site, but you might have to hunt around a bit to find the actual download page. In fact, in this case, the developer requires you to register for a free account on their site in order to download. I've already done that, so the next step is to check if there is more than one download available. In this case, there is a version for Joomla 1.6 to 2.5 and a version for Joomla 3. So, if faced with this choice, get the correct version and wait for the download to complete. The next step is to check if the file that was downloaded needs to be extracted first. This used to be common, but I'm finding that developers tend to use a single file now. Once again though, check their documentation first. Once you have the file, install it in Administrator by going to Extensions, Extension Manager, click the button to open a local window, which will be labelled something like Choose Files or Browse. Find the file that was downloaded and double-click it. Then click Upload and Install. The file will then be uploaded to your installation, which could take a while depending on its size. If you can't find the Choose Files button, it's possible that you have a new feature enabled. At the time of recording, this was optional. But it's possible that you need to look for the Upload Package File tab. Now you really do need to have a read of the instructions on how to use the extension. All extensions work differently, and it is impossible to provide training on how to use all of them. However, keep in mind that if you installed a component, you'll see that it's been added to the Components menu. If you installed a module, it's going to be under Module Manager. And it might need to be enabled and assigned to pages as demonstrated in Lesson 12. Plugins are found on the Plugin Manager page. However, they make their way onto a page either by adding some settings or adding code to an article or module. Languages are enabled on the Language Manager page. And templates are handled on the Template Manager page. One final word of advice. It's a good idea to back up your site before installing an extension, as in some cases the extension may mess up your site. Backing up and restoring your site is a topic I cover in our Beyond the Basics Joomla training. Here is a summary of the major points covered in this lesson. Extensions are supplied by third-party developers. Some are free and some are commercial. There are 5 types of extensions: components, modules, plugins, templates, and languages. The majority of extensions are listed at the Joomla Extensions directory, also known as the JED. It's vital to ensure your extensions are compatible with your version of Joomla. And installing extensions is done via the Extension Manager page in Administrator. There are thousands of extensions listed at the Joomla Extensions directory, but there are a few that we consider to be the best of the best, and these are listed on our Resources page. Have a look now to learn how to get the most from your Joomla website. In the final lesson, I'll wrap everything up and give you some hints on where to go next.